at me because I'm plugged into this NFL. I watch people. Oh, cocky. I don't hear nobody getting blamed. Everybody was equally pathetic. It's still not working. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, guys. It's set up perfectly. I don't even know if you can hear me, if you can see me, or anything. But it's set up perfectly. Yet I can't get any views. I can't. And it's not showing on my home page. Let me change my channel settings to a live broadcaster and see what happens. Okay, it says 4 people watching. Okay, all right. Mark Sanchez is here and DJ ATL Philly. Okay, good. You guys can. I have no feedback from myself, so I can't see anything. I can't hear anything. I'm just flying by the radar. So that's good. I gotta hurry up because I gotta take wifey to the airport. So let me tweet this thing out and get started with what we're gonna get started with today. YouTube has just been now Twitter's down. I was gonna tweet this thing. Now this isn't me. This isn't me. I've perfected this thing pretty much for the past 3 weeks or whatever, and I figured out little nuances or whatever. But this morning, this is nothing to do with me. It says Twitter is currently down for maintenance, and YouTube. I set the show for 9 o'clock. I mean for 7 o'clock Pacific time, and then over here it showed up at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And if it's at 6 o'clock Pacific time, it's not going to show live on the channel. So I had to make this 8 o'clock to make this 7 o'clock so it'll show. Not me. That was YouTube. And now Twitter is currently down for maintenance. Twitter down. Come on, people. We've got Cowboy stuff to talk about. We've got a draft coming up in a couple of days, and everybody want to act silly. Let me at least Facebook this thing. Short live show this morning. NJTK said, "Hi, the joys of technology." Yeah, One thing, if I get a hint of a problem with this setup during the draft, I'm hopping right over to UStream like that because I have a UStream account. I'm hooked up to UStream. I got UStream's pro broadcaster and everything. So if we start having problems like this during the draft or before the draft, I'm out of here and I'm over on UStream like a just quick. Hello, Mina. What's up, Robert D? Let me see if I can tweet this thing out one more time, and then we're just going at it. Nope, Twitter is still down. Twitter is horrible. All right, the things I wanted to bring up today. First of all, what's my list? First of all, I want to talk about the Revis situation, and please chime in on this. I think that it could be very big for us. Well, very, very bad for us, one thing, because that's another competent team in the NFC. But it's good for us because then it gives the New York Jets another draft pick. And the New York Jets aren't looking at basically the same things we're looking at. They may be looking at safety. I doubt it. I doubt it that early. But they'll probably pick up players that we don't want. Therefore, allowing possibly Vaccaro, possibly Sheldon Richardson, possibly one of the, and hopefully Cooper or Warmack. Hopefully one of those guys will fall to us at 18. However, Jerry Jones did listen to my advice finally, and he wants to see if he can trade down. That's what we're hearing, that he would rather trade down rather than trade up, which is music to all our ears. And so moving down is a better option in my opinion, because if we don't get a stud, if a stud doesn't fall to us at 18, we need to get very good, competent players to start filling out our roster. Now, defensively, Jerry Jones said we're fine. But before I go into defense, hold on, let me check. Before I go into defense, I want to go through our schedule. Oh, I got some G Money Thomas is out here in LA. All right, man. I'll hit Gary Thomas. I'll hit you up a little bit later, man. I'll be up in LAX in a few hours. Maybe we can have lunch or somewhat. What's up, Garrett? Garrett's watching. How's it going, man? Sorry, I can't see the feed. It's really annoying that I can't see my feedback of what's going on right now. But I'm glad everybody's here and happy. James Bryant says he hears the 49ers want to move up. I'm hearing the 49ers also. I'm hearing 49ers and Atlanta. Some on one board, what board was it? I think it was the Cowboys Zone. Somebody said that our draft pick equals 2 of the Bengals second rounders. I think our draft pick is 800 points or something like that, and they're 400 something a piece. So there are options if we can get someone to play ball with us. TK1000 said, I think now, I kicked my camera. I think now that we've signed McCray, they won't draft a safety in the first. I don't think they was going to draft a safety in the first regardless, whether McCray was on this team. I don't think McCray helps anything. I think McCray was signed for special teams help, not secondary help. Will Allen was signed for secondary help for support in that area. So I don't think that affected anything. I just don't think we were going to go Vaccaro or Eric Reed or somebody like that in the first round. I think we're going to wait to the second round and hopefully one of those safeties fall. And we'll go through those in just a few minutes. Thanks for making it to the first live show, man, James Bryant. The Jets got robbed. Yeah, the Jets got robbed unless Revis ain't the Revis that was. Some teams... We are oblivious to the thought of getting rid of a player before they completely are done with. For some reason in Dallas, The only time we will get rid of a player is when that player is absolutely done, or that player is too old, or we just get too mad at how bad he sucks. And that's the only way we get rid of a player. We won't get rid of a player that has high value so we can get better somewhere else, or get rid of a player that has high value so we can get younger at certain positions. We don't. That's not a practice that happens in Dallas. I mean, it happens in Philadelphia, it happens in New England, places like that. But we don't do that. We don't do that. So maybe the Jets took the initiative and cut ties with this guy so they can get another corner, a young corner in this draft, along with someone that can help out with the pass rush or something like that. So it may help out the Jets in the long run, but right now, as far as winning now, the team that has Revis has the best shot of winning now, and that's the Bucks. And that secondary there is nasty. I'm sorry. Other than the other corner over on the other side, yeah, that secondary is nasty. Let me try Twitter one more time. See if they're back alive. It's taking a minute. Twitter's still currently down for maintenance. All right, sorry, Twitter people. I have to keep refreshing my page here too because it's not pulling down your comments. It's just annoying morning. Mina says if we could put off a trade with the Niners, that would be great. They have a high second rounder. Yeah, and then we can also take a little bit of talent away from the Niners because the Niners seem like they're one team that knows exactly how to use those picks. But the thing about the Niners, I think they're going to have to move up because they have starters across the board. And they have backups almost all the way across the board. So they only need spot players here and there. So what they should do is package a few of their picks and move up. And get a more of a quality player or get the player that they target or whatever. Use those picks in those ways. Because, I mean, they have a stud roster, man. Yeah, Justin Hoover says McCray is purely a second special teams player. I agree. I don't look for him to be a savior in our secondary or anything like that, or even I don't look for him to be a player in our safeties. You know, just on special teams if he makes a team. We have a very favorable schedule next year. Perfect segue. Let's go into schedules. Let me go to NFL.com. Let me bring you guys on. Boom. I'm on that page. Let me go somewhere else. Season schedule for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go through this bad boy. All right. September 8th, opening day. 7:30 Central Time, Dallas versus the Giants. That game will be just as exciting as the game last year with the Giants. I think we can pull it out. The Giants are. I just don't know what the Giants are going to do right now. They're having issues with Cruz and whatever. But the Giants are still a very competent team. I hope we come out like we did the first game with them instead of the second game with them. The second game with them, we almost won that game with Des Bryant hitting his finger, with his fingers out. We almost won that game, but we played horrible that game. That was horrible. Now, and that was another one of my pet peeves games, the games I can't stand, and we'll go through those later on down the line. But there's been so many games where we came out and couldn't do a thing. Sometimes, like that Giant game, we came out and Tony Romo threw a whole bunch of interceptions and things of that sort. So there's been plenty of games where we've came out and we've started out either with turnovers or just downright bad play and not scoring. We don't score very many points at all in those first three quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, we come back, just throwing the ball all over the place. So I can't stand that formula. I hate it in football. I like the other way around. I like jumping on top and then slowing things down and pounding and sucking the clock at the end of the game. That's the way I like to do it. So it's just a difference. The second game is with the Kansas City Chiefs. Another game I think we can win. However, the Chiefs are going to know a lot of information about us just because of Andy Reid. So they're gonna be completely on top of our game, and pretty much they'll pretty much know what we're doing. So the Chiefs kind of worried about that. They got a little bit of talent over there. They've got Alex Smith playing quarterback, so they have a decent quarterback over there. They have a killer running back over there with Jamal Charles. The defense is straight. So that keep an eye on those Chiefs, but I totally expect us to win this game. Next game is the Rams. Everybody, it's so funny when people were looking at this schedule. They were talking about, how easy, the beginning of the schedule is. Oh, we have the Rams. And in our minds, we say, oh, we're here and the Rams are here. You know what I'm saying? The Rams are way below us. The Rams are not close to us. But the Rams were a half a game away from us last year in final record. They wasn't that far away from us, and they're a young team. They have some young studs on defense. They've improved their offensive line. Their running back situation is gonna. We're gonna wait to see what happens with them without Steven Jackson. But the Rams are not a horrible football team. They're almost right there on par with us. 8-8, 7-8-1. So it has to go down just a tad. So don't sleep on the Rams is basically what I'm saying. Next team we have the Chargers. I think you can. I personally, even though the Chargers have Phillip Rivers, I feel you can sleep on the Chargers more than you can sleep on the Rams. You know what I'm saying? I fully expect us to win that game. That's one of the games that I fully expect us to win. The game versus the Chargers, the NFC version of the Cowboys. So right here, I can see 4-0. Probably we're gonna lose one of those to be 3-1, just because that's just the way we are. But I can definitely see 3-1 or 4-0 out of those first 4 games. Then it kind of gets a little difficult. The Broncos, that's an L. I mean, if we beat the Broncos, and I need to see if I can go to that game, because I'm a person that when I show up, we beat Peyton Manning. So I think I need to try to get to that Bronco game. Halen 88 from YouTube is probably, I think he's trying to get me to go to that game. So we'll see what happens with that Bronco game. But I do see that as an L. Then after that, we have RG3. Not going to be 100% maybe by then. You just don't know with that guy. You don't know with RG3. But RG3 may be 100% at that time. Probably another L. Let me go to the comments and see if anybody said anything so I can catch up with you guys. Up in Mile High. No, it says it's in Justin. It says it's in Dallas. The Broncos game. Ernie M25 is that. Yeah, Ernie M25 says Rams have a great defense, not going to be a walk in the park. Exactly. It's a young defense, and then the coach. You can't rule out Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher is a very, very good football coach. He'll get people's minds in the right place. And you got corners like Janoris Jenkins and Cortland Finnegan. They have a little swag, man. They have a little swag. Tashiro Hitsugaya says the Rams are pretty tough. I destroyed your name, man. Sorry. What's up, Sluger? Sluger says first quarter and half was awful and still almost pulled it out. Yeah, I know, Sluger. I just can't stand that. That's not football, in my opinion. When you go out there and you just suck up the joint for the whole first half and third quarter, and then when you're forced with nothing but having to do one thing and being one dimensional and coming back throwing the ball football, and being highly aggressive, I think that just makes our every game a coin toss. No matter how good the team we're playing is, nor how bad the team is. every game on our schedule is pretty much a coin toss because we can beat anybody if we score 21 points in the fourth quarter before the gun snap. But then also we can lose to anybody. So I just don't like that formula. I like a formula where we get on top of people and then we pound them into submission. That's the way I like to do it. Justin Hoover says he's going to be at the Viking game. Try to come up with the 18th for Austin or Hunter. I'm telling you, that would give us a 23 and a third round pick. I'm all for Austin, but I just don't think he'll drop all the way down to 18. And secondly, I will be at the Dallas Minnesota Viking football game, mainly because of her. She hadn't seen Minnesota ever, and she wants to see her Vikings. And I kind of told her that I thought the game was supposed to be in Minnesota. So I kind of told her the game was going to be in Minnesota. I still haven't broken the news that she's going to have to go and be around Dallas Cowboy fans. She's not going to like that too much, but I'm going to enjoy telling her that. But we definitely will be at that Vikings game. Mina says, if we can pull off a trade with the Niners, that would be great. They have a high second rounder. Yep. We already went through that, all that kind of stuff. All right, good. What's up, Terrence Cartwright? All right, let's keep on going to the schedule. The Redskin game, but that's a home game versus the Redskins. So we may pull that one out. I just don't the way a gimpy RG3 ran on us and controlled us, and the way Alfred Morris ran through us and things of that sort. I don't see. I see the Redskins having a formula that works. And I said that last year that that the Redskins are a matchup problem with us. So that's gonna be a tough win. Next we have the Eagles, who are being set up as a matchup problem for us. Also, they're just not put together yet, and the Eagles are a big question because you got a very intriguing coach with a new little system coming in here. You got a lot of talent out on that football team that was misused last year, and they jettisoned some guys and brought some more solid guys in. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Eagles, but you can't count them out. You can't say, oh, the Eagles finished last in the division last year. They're going to suck this year, because they may not suck. I mean, they may not suck. I mean, they still have talent, and Chip Kelly may do well in his first season. The second season, when people get tape on his system and what he's doing in the pros, he might slip some. But his first season in the NFL with all his little tricks, he might have a little success. Kind of like the Wildcat the first year, the spread option last year. You know what I'm saying? It had some success, but we all expecting the doors to be closed a little bit on those type of offenses. After the Eagles, we have the Lions. Another tough game. The Lions' defense isn't that good at all, so we should be able to score up and down on them. The scary thing about me talking trash about the Lions' defense is the fact that we took linebackers from them that they don't want, and those linebackers are going to be playing a lot. Ernie Sims and Justin Durant. Detroit didn't want either player. And we took them, and they're going to be playing vital snaps for us. So that does not bode well when you think of Detroit Lions and you don't think of defense at all. So maybe this game I see it being a 30-something to 40-something shootout where there's no defense and things of that sort. So we will be forced to come back against the Lions at the end of the football game. But I think we can. I don't think they'll be able to stop us at all. Next game, number 9, Minnesota Vikings. I don't expect us to beat the Vikings. Ground and pound football team. If we don't shore up our line or get stronger in the defensive line, we're not going to be able to handle Adrian Peterson. It's just not going to happen. Next, we have New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, again, another team. Rob Ryan's going to know a lot about us offensively. He's going to know a lot about Jason Garrett's system. He's going to know a lot about Tony Romo. He's going to have a lot of information to use against us with the New Orleans Saints. So I don't think that's going to be a easy game for us either. So like I said, after those first 4 games, every week there's a different formidable challenge. And then week 11 to bye. Then after the bye, we come back again at New York. November 24th at New York. Probably be a little chilly, not too chilly, but it will be cold. After that, the Raiders in Texas Stadium. That should be a win. I don't see 2 games that I fully expect us to win next year. That and will lose my mind if we lose them. Is the Raiders and the Chargers. I fully expect us to win both of those games, and yeah, because I don't think much of either team. And then on week 14 we have the Chicago Bears. Oh God, man, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad we're in Soldier Field because they kind of raped us in our own stadium last year, and I feel horrible, having to play the Bears again. But that's going to be a tough game. December 9th in Soldier Field. It will be. We're gonna get used. We're gonna put our cold britches on. Then December 15th we have the Packers. I really don't expect us to beat the Packers. They simply because if they have 30 seconds on the clock at the end of the game, they can score on us. Aaron Rodgers can. And then December 22nd we have the Redskins. Oh gosh. And then the Eagles. Hopefully we can win that game with the Eagles. So the schedule starts off really good, and it puts us in a very good position at the beginning. But then after that, week after week after week, a tough, different type challenge. And there's no easy games. The only 2 games that I fully expect us to win are the Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers. Checking comments. The NFC North worries me. The NFC is Justin. The NFC is packed. I mean, they're. I mean, you got the NFC West, who has, in my opinion, the 2 best teams, Seattle and San Francisco. You have that, and then you have the Rams in there, and then you have Arizona, who has a nasty defense. So you got 4 competent teams in that NFC West. You got the NFC South, who you got a Super Bowl contender in Atlanta. You have a potential Super Bowl contender with New Orleans. If they play average to good defense, they can win the Super Bowl. Then you have the Tampa Bay Bucks. They just came out of nowhere. They are building a team similar to what they've done out there in San Francisco and mainly in Seattle. That defense with those 2 monster safeties, and you can tell with Seattle, those corners can do so much. Richard Sherman is one of the better corners in the league because of those safeties. Those safeties can allow those corners to harass the receivers, to get all up in their business and do all kind of things like that. We don't have that. That's why when Monty Kiffin told us that we're going to be playing defense similar to what this Seahawks are playing. But we don't have Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor back there. We don't have anything close to Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor back there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with our defense. Justin says Raiders will hands down be the worst team in the NFL in my opinion. They have no talent. Well, they do have a little bit of talent, but they just start picking people this year. They just start getting people from here. They got Mike Jenkins, and it's just a hodgepodge of talent. So it's going to take a while for them to blend. So I just don't think they're going to do well this year at all. The Eagles did that too. They got top talent and just put it together, and it didn't work. So you can imagine the Raiders got average to below average talent, and they're not going to be able to put anything together. NJTK1000 asks, what do I think about having a late bye week? I think it helps, especially when players get banged up. Yeah, and that's been one of my personal things with the Cowboys. I think, the reason why we have bad Decembers are we're beat up. We've been undersized. Our defense have been undersized for years. I learned this from when Parcells was here. Is when the defense takes so much pounding that in the fourth quarters and at the end of the season, the bodies just start wearing down. And I've suspected that been happening to my Cowboys for the past few years, and so me seeing that bye week so people can rest those bones for a little bit and then come back and play the last 6 games, I really like that. I love our schedule, I really do. Robert D said Calvin Johnson is simply a beast. He is. There's no stopping him. We can hope to slow him down. Don J said might go to the first game again. At what week do you think Vic will be on the bench again? James Bryant asked. I don't know. All I know is Vic is not to be trusted. That's why I think the Eagles are going to pick a quarterback, because I think they're going to go Geno Smith or EJ Manuel. Maybe trade down and get one of those guys. But Vic is just, whatever talent he is, he's just not trustworthy. He's not trustworthy on his throwing. He's not trustworthy on his ball handling. He's not trustworthy on his injuries. He's just not. So, week 4, Vic is gone. All right, let me refresh. I agree, Ernie, too. Ernie says, the way I see it, I'm glad that we have the schedule, because we'll see if we deserve a playoff spot. Exactly, because it's laid out for us. There's nothing super hard. There's no stretch like, oh my God, look at this stretch of games. It's just not there. You'll have you got a lot of decent games, and you start off, like I said, very at a very non-aggressive way. So I really like our schedule, our chances, and if we play good, we can hope to make the playoffs. This is our issue with making the playoffs, everyone. And I just went through it. Is Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, New Orleans, Atlanta, probably Tampa Bay, Washington, New York Giants, and Dallas. That's 11 teams. And what was it? 6 of them. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them will go to the dance. So that's going to leave 5 of them out, and we're not a top 6 of those teams. So it's going to be a real tough fight for us to make the playoffs. Real tough fight. Ernie says this team needs to get the mentality of earning a playoff spot the hard way. Tired of trying to get it by 9 to 7 seasons. Exactly. All right, let me go to my next topic. I'm gonna just go through a few defensive players. Let me go through that first. Safeties last. First, I'm going to start with the defensive lineman on who we're looking at. Now, did you guys hear Jerry Jones say that we're straight on defense? I'm paraphrasing him a little bit. But basically, he said we're straight. We're straight on defense. I don't know where he sees that. I don't know where he sees that we're straight on defense when we were not very good on defense last year. Rob Ryan was holding the team together with Band-Aids and what do you call those things? Twisty ties or whatnot. But our defense was barely being held together by Rob Ryan last year. So and then we lost a lot of players from that team that we're not going to get back, that we're going to have to replace with rookie free agents our draft picks, our free agents. So I don't see how solid we are on defense. I see um, we have two defensive ends. That's it. Maybe Tyrone Crawford can play defensive end. I'm hoping Tyrone Crawford can play defensive end because our defensive ends are small. You know what I'm saying? And that's not going to bode well for the running game, especially for big running backs like Alfred Morris that will just basically gut your defense. So we have a hole at defensive end. There's no way. I was just reading about Ware's injuries today. His shoulder is getting fine, getting better, but he may need elbow surgery also, from what I can remember. So I mean, he's breaking down. You know what I'm saying? He's got some serious issues. So you can't, if you want to keep him healthy, you can't keep him out there on the football field at all times. You got to pull Ware and make sure you get the best from Ware at the most optimal times. Put him in the fourth quarter, make sure he gets pressure on the quarterback, all kind of stuff. But we need someone else like Crawford to handle tackling, to handle end contain and things of that sort. The other things that a 4-3 defensive end does, other than just pass rush, we need somebody to step up and do some of those things, so that maybe DeMarcus Ware can take a couple of first downs off, where somebody else can go in and make a tackle, and then DeMarcus Ware comes in and rushes the passer. So I just think that behind DeMarcus Ware, there's nothing. On the other side, we have Anthony Spencer, who is we signed his franchise tender, so therefore he is not guaranteed to be back next year. So we have two guys. One's hurt. One is in a contract year, may not come back next year. So in my mind, I see a definite need for a defensive end. Don't you? I mean, a definite need. Next position. Let me bring up my channel again. Next position, I'm gonna stay on the defensive line, is defensive tackle. So we have Hatcher, we have Ratliff, we have Lissamore. That's pretty much it we have on the inside. Rat is, in my opinion, I've said it over and over, Rat is on his last leg. We probably can get some isolated plays out of him, but not full-time anything anymore, probably. Hatcher might be very good. I'm not sure. Hatcher's always been one of my guys, but he's on his last year. So if Hatcher's doesn't come back, he may not be on his last year, but there may be questions on him coming back again next year. So we're not sure we're going to keep him. And Lissamore is just a rotation guy. He's not a starter. So right there, I've just laid out a reason to draft at least two defensive linemen, one interior, one defensive end, just to shore up that position a little bit, and just to make sure that just in case where it goes down, we're covered. Just in case Ratliff can't keep up with the punishment, we're covered. So let's look through the defensive end. Defensive tackles. Hold on. I lost you guys. The comments. There you go. Justin Hoover's perfect. He said we need a bigger guy to play the one technique. Sounds like we're looking for three techniques in the draft. Exactly. It with our crew, The only one, in my opinion, that has the physique to play that one technique is Lissamore, right? And he's the biggest and strongest of all the guys that we have, and I just don't see him being a starter. And me too, Justin. I don't want to get Sylvester Williams at 18, but if we can go back and get him, that would be absolutely awesome. Amina wants to trade Jerry Jones to another team. How awesome is that? What would that be? All right, we got 10 minutes. I'm going to go through my guys that I like quickly. Let me bring up my notes here also. Sharif Floyd in my dreams. Jordan, Mingo, all those. No. Star Lele. Not going to fall to us. The first one here that we have on this list that could fall to us is right here, Sheldon Richardson. I really like Sheldon Richardson. If he gets there, I think he's more of a, let me make sure and check, but I think he's more of a 3 technique defensive tackle. But the only thing that his problem is his upper body strength, his muscles. So that is one thing that once you come in the league, you can go to get your butt in the weight room and drink these protein shakes every freaking day, and get them bigger and stronger, and you can do it quickly. I have all the faith in the world or something like that. So Sheldon Richardson is a wonderful option. Us probably the best option outside of the 2 guards, Chance Warmack and Cooper. Probably the next best option is Mr. Sheldon Richardson. Bjorn Werner. A lot of people asked me about him earlier, and I really kind of liked him during the draft. I really did. I mean, during the combine. But I just don't like his size. 6'3", 266. He's bigger than some, but I think we need another guy kind of like Tyrone Crawford, or maybe you move Tyrone Crawford into defensive tackle position and get a bigger defensive end, a bigger run-stopping defensive end. Demontre Moore, I just don't think I want him. I mean, I know I said with Sheldon Richardson you can get a guy stronger, but Demontre Moore did absolutely nothing with the bench press. I mean, he looked like a weak individual. So that scares the living out of me. So I'm not a big fan of Demontre Moore. Now, Dayton Jones I like a lot. He's another, I think, let me check on him too. I think he's a run stopper. Let's go down here. His NFL comparison is Corey Redden. Jones looked the part. His production matched up to his talent in the senior year. He's very long, has good initial quickness, power with plays, and plays with a good pad level. He is versatile enough to play anywhere along the defensive line going forward. Jones needs to do a better job at anchoring and disengaging once the initial surge is halted. However, his immense physical talent and extremely productive senior season should make him an early selection. So yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Hopefully he can get into Valley Ranch a little bit later. Of course, a late round pick. Where am I saying? Where's Everett Dawkins at? Everett. Someone tweeted me about Marcus Hunt. So intrigued about that guy. So intrigued about Marcus Hunt. I was just like in awe looking at him when I was watching the combine. He is a work in progress, I think, but I think with his athletic ability, his height, that he can be kind of like a JJ Swat, where he can get up, where we can teach him how to get up and get in the air and take out some of that airspace like Watt does. I mean, you throw it up over his head, he might come, the ball might come right back at you. Like, who's a good blocker? Dikembe Mutombo. That's what uh, JJ Swat is. But I like Marcus Hunt. I really do. I really, really do. It depends that on where we can get him. If we can get him in the second round, that's awesome. If we get him at 18, it's kind of too big. Here's another one of my guys, Kawan Short, 6'3", 299 pounds. In NFL comparison, Randy Starks. He can be. He's a 4-3 defensive tackle also. He has a good athlete for size, but needs to get stronger and get better in better shape. He has a productive and decorated career at Purdue and a big body with quickness, figures to go in the top 60 picks of the draft. So another guy, a big nasty, we can put in there. And who else is there? Benny Logan. Where's Benny Logan? I can't find him. Well, Benny Logan is in my notes here. There we go. From LSU. 6'2", 309 pounds. But again, a big guy that could possibly do that one technique that you guys were talking about. Now, after we did defensive line, we love LSU talent. Marcus Hunt is an amazing talent, man. Oh, I did not know that, Justin. Justin says Marcus Hunt is also going to be 26 years old this season. Yeah, I don't like that. 26 years old. In 3 years, you'll be 30. You know what I'm saying? You'll be pushing 30, and that's when players only the real good NFL players live after the age of 30. Shango, what do you think our chances of getting T.J. McDonald since he was a captain on Monty's defense last year, and Sheldon Richardson is a beast. Sheldon Richardson is a beast. I think it's a possibility. We just have to see how these positions fall. I mean, we can use so much. We can use so very much. You have we can use wide receiver. We can use. I mean, I've even seen an argument that we need to get somebody in behind Ware, Witten, which I think Hannah is already good enough. Definitely offensive line. I've heard the rumor for running back, a quarterback, but I've said it over and over and over. We do not have a roster spot for another quarterback. We got a contract for Romo and Orton. They're both under contract. They're both going to be playing their positions. And we get another quarterback. He'll be a third quarterback carrying a clipboard, taking up a roster spot from somebody else that's trying to make the team. I'm not with that at all. We definitely the running back. We can use a fullback so we don't have to pay Vickers all his veteran money. We can use a corner. We definitely can use a cornerback. I don't know why I'm not hearing as much from corner as we used to. I guess that's an indication of how many positions we need to fill, because corner, we have Scandrick there in our slot, and we have basically with Sterling Moore. Hopefully he'll be all right. But we lost a lot in our depth with our secondary when we lost Mike Jenkins. So we could use a corner. I don't think we will have a pick to get a corner or whatever. And last but not least, let me go through these names, and then I'll let you go for the day, and then we'll get ready for this draft. But lastly is safeties. Now, interesting enough, I saw on this thing that Jonathan Cyprin is the number one safety now, which is awesome because everybody has him going, high early second or very late first. So he's a definite option if we can if he still, drops to the bottom of the first round, and we can move down in the draft and get maybe another third rounder or something like that, then Cyprin would be awesome. I mean, he's not that great of a cover guy. He'll get sucked in. He'll get sucked in with play actions, and he'll make bad reads every now and then. But he will hit you. He will have the intimidation factor. And if we have Cyprin and maybe Barry Church, the way they've been talking Barry Church up, and the way they think Barry Church can play, if that Barry Church is coupled with someone like Jonathan Cyprin, then we could have the beginnings of a safety combination like Seattle and like Tampa Bay is going to have. So I really like that guy, and if we get him late in the first, early second, that would be absolutely amazing. Next, Kenny Vaccaro. I've not been a fan of Kenny Vaccaro since day one. Not a fan of him right now. If he comes to Dallas, I think he's not a bad player at all. I just think it's too high to get him. Eric Reed is almost in the same way of with Kenny Vaccaro. I don't want them that high. If we can get them in the late in the first, like Kenny Vaccaro, if we can move down and get him, which I doubt it's not going to happen. Or Eric Reed, the same thing. If we can get him late in the first or early second, that would be good. South Carolina, another South Carolina boy, D.C. Swearinger. He's shooting up the draft lately, and he's from my part of the country. So he is a thug. He was the captain of the defense, and I told you over and over and over, as many times as I watched the Gamecocks play, there's a bunch of thugs, a bunch of hardcore football players, extreme talents on that football team, and this guy was one of them. High motor. He'll get around. He'll do things for you. And he's definitely got some pop with him. So DJ Swearinger, please be a Cowboy. I'll be happy, man. On draft day, I'll be happy with him as a day 2 pick. Ecstatic. Matt Elam. Matt Elam is my favorite safety. He's my favorite safety. A lot of people have him going late first. If he goes late first, I mean, you have fun with him. But if he's still sitting there in the second round somehow, we need to go up there and get him, because I think he's probably the best player at safety, but his problem is right here, 5'10". That's kind of short, especially when you're dealing with 6'8" Gronkowski tight ends. I mean, players are getting ridiculous these days. There's a few more. J.J. Wilcox is another guy that I really, 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 really like. He's taller, 6 foot, and we'll see what happens from him. Handful of prospects switched positions during their career, even a small enough to change positions twice. And I think he went from receiver to slot back to safety, which means that he's a well-rounded athlete. We can probably use him in a lot of different ways. So I like J.J. Wilcox alone. I think there was one more safety that I really like. Let me look at my notes. Philip Thomas, right here. Another 6 foot guy, 208 pounds. Very athletic, physical guy. The bottom line is he had a gruesome leg injury, forced Thomas to question his NFL potential. But as a senior, the senior was everywhere in 2012, looked good as new, and he gets a bit tentative when closing on the ball carriers, choosing not to meet them at the line of scrimmage unless they're lined up in the box. But Thomas thrives at going up and getting it in coverage. So, like Reggie Nelson, if you remember Reggie Nelson from the Jaguars and his dreads running around, Reggie is a cover guy who mainly plays center field. So, I like this guy too. I like it. I like Philip Thomas a lot. So we'll be looking at those guys for draft picks. Like I said, linebacker. We definitely need a linebacker, but I just don't see us having a draft position to draft a linebacker. Same with corner. Don't think we have a spot to draft a corner. wide receiver. I don't really think we have a spot to draft a wide receiver unless we get him at like the fifth, sixth round. So that's our defensive draft board. It's just going to have to be heavy with defensive tackle, defensive end, and safety. And then after we get those guys covered, then we can start venturing out at linebackers and cornerbacks and things of that sort. So an hour before the draft, I will be here. An hour before the draft, everything will be up. I will have this all tested out. I think I'm going to have Raphael. I hope to have DC Fanatic, of course, here. But Skyping in. And I definitely will have Raphael Vela here through Skype also. Raphael is a draft expert. Those guys on ESPN don't have anything on Raphael. Expert. So he'll be giving expert analysis. I'll be giving my rough analysis. I guess I'm the color. I'm John. I don't want to say John Madden. Who is an ignorant one? I'm John Gruden, and he's Mike Tirico. That's a good one. I'm the wild drunkard that might be high on anything, and he's the brains of the operation. So that's what's going to happen during the draft. Cannot wait. We will be drafting at least one or two of the guys I've discussed today. Promise you that. All right, guys. I'm getting ready to sign off, but again, Thursday, 1 hour before the start of the draft, 7 p.m. Eastern, I will turn on the live show. We will have a good time, and we'll enjoy the draft. I really like the new setup of one round at night on Thursday night. I really like that new setup. I mean, it focuses on the top players in college football, and it's just a good fun night. So hey, let's do it. All right, guys, enjoyed it immensely. I'll be back here, like I said, Thursday, and then we'll follow up on this draft on Monday. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here. All right, peace out.